I will not let it. Hello, 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 hello. I know there are a lot of lives going on right now, a lot of people talking about this subject. Hello. Oh, there's my stylus. Hot topic tonight is Mr. Bill Cosby. So many mixed emotions for a lot of people. Some people don't have any mixed emotions. They happy he home. They never thought he was guilty. And it's a joyous celebration. Except because when I was growing up, I looked up to this man. I know. We were all conditioned like any celebrity. I know celebrities that played parts like Mr. in The Color Purple, Danny Glover. Like I hate Danny Glover because I see him as Mr. when I know that's not who he is. But when we see things, we see actors, some actors are so good at what they do that we believe that that is the person in real life. In real life. And it's the same way with Bill Cosby. When I see Bill Cosby, I see Cliff Huxtable. And Cliff Huxtable would never take advantage of women, would never rape a woman, would never drug a woman. And that's why it's so difficult to believe that Bill Cosby could have done any of those things. Especially because Bill Cosby gave so much to colleges, Black colleges, and a lot of other wonderful things that he did. So it's hard to separate it. How could someone be so kind and generous to people, but at the same time, from what he has been accused of and convicted of in civil cases over the last 30 years, civilly, he has lost, I think, at least 2 cases where he admitted to drugging women for sexual pleasure. And it's still hard to believe that because when I see Bill Cosby, I see Cliff Huxtable. Just like when I see Danny Glover, I see Mr. The Color Purple was just on TV the other day. I can't watch it. I got to be in an emotional place to be able to stay. Like I can't have no. I can't. It just takes me to sadness. I just can't do it. I cannot watch it anymore. But Bill Cosby is not Cliff Huxtable. He is not. Therefore, when we think about his case and we think about the charges against him, we just got to be careful. Women, for us as women, this case has so many different layers to it, because I think for women, it sets us back as far as telling our stories if we were sexually assaulted. Um, I've seen women tell their story of being sexually assaulted or raped, and at the end of it, they lose. As the victim, they lose their family. I've seen them lose their housing. I've seen them lose their children because they told the truth about a sexual assault. So with the Bill Cosby case, any case like that is going to set a precedent. And so men who commit these crimes will use the Bill Cosby case as a precedent for their own case. So for women who report that they've been raped or drugged, now even, hi Tamika. So for women, this case is going to really set us back as women. It really will, for a lot of different reasons. You know, for whatever reason, that prosecutor in Philadelphia should have never reopened the case. This new prosecutor, he should be fired. He should have never reopened that case. That case had already been settled. It had already been dealt with. And unfortunately, sometimes the woman that that was in the last case, she honestly, we go by looks over here in the United States. She didn't look the part for all of us to believe that she was raped. And that's sad, because a coochie is a coochie. It don't matter the face, the body shape, or none of that. But, and this, we're very visual people. So for a lot of us, we looked at Constantine. What's her name? Constantine. And we was like, Bill Cosby did not rape that woman. She ain't even cute. And that has nothing to do with the way someone looks if they are pretty enough to be raped. So unfortunately, that was part of it. But it was just way too many women that experienced the same experience with him. Right. Money talks. And it's all about money. It's all, how many men are in prison right now on a case that the prosecutor had less physical evidence or no physical evidence. And these men, young Black men, are in prison for decades on a bullshit charge because they have no money and they're poor. So that's another layer. Bill Cosby knew what he was doing. Well, I'm not sure if he knew, but his defense team, because remember, like a month ago, they wanted him to go to the sex offenders classes. And he refused to go to the sex offenders classes. And I knew that had to be his attorneys telling him not to go to the sex offenders classes, because once you are in those classes, the first thing they make you do is admit your crime with details. And so if he had gone into those classes, he would have left prison as a sex offender for the rest of his life, all this other stuff. And so that's why they wouldn't let him do it. Plus, they knew that their case was looking good in the Supreme Court. So they just told Bill to just chill out in your cell, Do not let them take you to them sex offenders classes. And Bill did not, he did not go to them sex offender classes. He did not go. But I ain't gonna lie, Bill ate them 3 years. Them 3 years went pretty quick. Well, of course, I can say that because I wasn't sitting in that cell. But from what I can understand, what I understand is that, he didn't have a difficult time in prison. That, the other prisoners looked out for him. COs looked out for him. He spent a lot of his time teaching and preaching, to the inmates and encouraging them and all of that stuff. I'm sure he kept money on his books, So he didn't look bad coming out. I mean, he did not look bad today coming out. But it's money, 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 money and fame. And the fact that we are still conditioned to believe we're looking at Cliff Huxtable. Although back in the day, Wendy used to talk about Bill Cosby 30 years ago, 20 years ago on the radio. And there was a comedian that also talked about him in their act and how he was giving women pills, and he labeled him Pill Cosby then. So this is nothing new for the industry. People knew what he was about as far as giving women pills and, cheating. Like, it was more of like cheating on his wife, that he was a cheater. So I think we just are conditioned to believe that we are looking at Cliff Huxtable. And if you believe everything we believe about Cliff Huxtable would never hurt anybody. He would never do the things that Bill Cosby has been accused of. Do I think that now see that prosecutor, it was something deeper that none of us may know. I know some of the theories are that Bill Cosby was about to purchase NBC, and the powers that be, racism and all of that, did not want to see him purchase NBC. I think him and Oprah might have been putting their money together. Something like that. And so because they didn't want to see him purchase NBC and gain that kind of power, they were like, well, what can we do? What can we do? And that's when whoever they are, reached out to Philadelphia prosecutor and said, we know about all of his old charges and da-da-da. Do you think there's anybody we could bring up? It was just real, for the sake of trying to, hi, TZ, for the sake of trying to destroy Bill Cosby, they set women back as far as reporting assaults, our ability to get lawyers to believe us, when we have been raped or assaulted. And trying to take down Bill Cosby has hurt women more than we know, especially those of us who live in Pennsylvania, because now that conviction and the overturnment, and that conviction being overturned in our state, gives precedent. So if I got raped yesterday and my rapist goes to prison, he can use that case to get his conviction overturned. So that's how it hurts women moving forward, because even if you believe Bill Cosby was, even if you believed that he was a rapist or not, the case is going to weigh heavy on for women in the future. So we know, I mean, it's just the conditioning that I know when I heard that he was getting out, I was like, oh, because all I still see is Bill Cosby and an older man. I mean, Cliff Huxtable, an older man, like, somebody that we all loved and grew up watching. And it's just, I mean, it takes us back to R. Kelly. It's just too much. Right? Or Little Bill. No. Fat Albert, the whole Fat Albert gang. I mean, this man created so much culture. If it wasn't for Bill Cosby and talking about HBUs, black colleges, and wearing Morehouse, Howard, college sweatshirts and t-shirts, I don't think I would have known about, HBUs. I probably wouldn't have. And then, being able to, giving us a different world, the show A Different World. Thank you, Teasy. Giving us A Different World. For us back in the 90s, watching A Different World, which is a show created by Bill Cosby, opened the door for so many of us to want to go to college and wanting to go to a HBU. He's free, and I just came in, but I heard Bill Cosby. He's at home. Yes, he's home now. He's home. So he gave us so much culture and so much knowledge and understanding. But the backstory, and for those of us who live out here in the tri-state, in Philly, New York, and New Jersey, Wendy Williams had already given us that tea on Bill Cosby 30 years ago. But the tea was that he was a cheater, that he liked to sleep around. And honestly, nobody really wanted to believe Wendy then. Wendy, as a matter of fact, Bill Cosby called Wendy and cussed her out and attempted to get her fired from the radio. I think he did get her fired out of Philadelphia because Wendy was already talking and telling his tea back then because women were reporting it. Like, I went to Bill Cosby's house because he wanted to read a script. Next thing I know, I'm asleep and Bill is on top of me. What? Like that tea had been going on for 30 plus years, a long time. And his wife has just always been the doting wife. She's always stuck by him. Thank you. Thank you, Miss. Thank you, Lynn. So I just think when we think about Bill Cosby, and it's hard for me too, because like I said, all I see is Cliff Huxtable. And then my brain says, Cliff Huxtable would never do anything like that. Therefore, Bill Cosby couldn't be that way. And that's what makes it so difficult, because we know that child molesters, rapists, we get this image in our head that they are these disgusting, ugly people. And in reality, they're not. Not always. They can be very handsome, charismatic, articulate. Wendy knew everybody's business. Woo, yes, she did. And so when we have that image, when we look at Bill Cosby, you would never think that he would do anything that he has admitted to and been accused of. And the same thing with R. Kelly. It's that image that we have of what a rapist is, and it's not true. It's just not true. Same thing with child molesters. I've been in the room with a room full of child molesters, giving counseling services. And you look at these guys and it's like, how, Mr. Jones, you raped your little nephew that's 10 years old? I don't see it. You look like such a nice guy. You can't go by that. They hide in plain sight. You cannot go by that. You just cannot. And that's why Bill Cosby was not going to go into that sex offenders class in prison. And I've been in some of those sex offenders classes in prison, and they get in your ass as the sex offender, and they make you admit everything you did. And admitting everything that he did, he was not going to do that because he's never really believed in, probably allegedly, that he did anything wrong. You can be a cheater. The fact that he cheated on his wife is one thing. But the piece that they claim of the drugging and all that, and I just was on somebody else's live, and they were saying everybody was doing it back then. Everybody was taking Quaaludes, and I'm like, people might have been taking Quaaludes, but everybody wasn't setting themselves up to have sex with somebody. Just because I take a Quaalude or something like that, my choice, I take it, doesn't mean I want to have sex with every guy in the room. If I'm here to get high, I'm here to get high. Me getting high and having sex with you is two different things. So that just sounds stupid. And like I said, again, it's women. We are going to, because of this case being turned around the way it did, the fact that he should have never even went back to trial on that case. He should have never went back to trial on that case. That case had already been settled. And it's just hurting women. It's just going to hurt us in the long run. It really is. But Bill Cosby is free, and Cliff Huxtable, we need to keep in our heart and on the TV, because they are two different people. Two different people. And we just got to remember that, and I know people are celebrating this and considering this a victory. Hi, Destiny. I didn't have my what was it in my bag? What was it in my bag? My chili. Destiny, my chili wasn't in my bag. When you gonna work again so I can come get my chili? Destiny recognized me, guys, at the Destiny, don't tell them where it was, because my location is secret. But Destiny recognized me at the Wendy's. Destiny, I have a Wendy's that's closer to me, but I come to yours because y'all serve the best fresh food, and I come out to yours, girl. But anyway, guys, that's it. I'm in the bushes and all these other lives and people talking about Bill Cosby. And for the most part, from what I can see, a lot of people are in this sector, I guess, the Black sector of YouTube is really celebrating him being free. And a little part of me does too. But that's because my brain is telling me that's Cliff Huxtable. The Cliff Huxtable part of me is like, oh, look at that old man. Oh. But the other side of me that have worked chili. Yes, girl. Y'all forgot my chili. Well, it really wasn't mine. It was my husband's. He was mad. The other part of me that have worked for years with victims of sexual crimes against them is like, what the F? This is going to set us back as women. Okay, Destiny, I'm coming too. I'll be there. Give me till like around 3-ish. What time you going to work? I probably want me a frosty too when I get there. I'm gonna need a frosty, and I'll be there. I'll be over there tomorrow. Ah, so that's really all I have. Bill Cosby is not Cliff Huxtable. So as we, talk about this case moving forward, especially for us as women, we cannot victim shame. We cannot do that because, I have daughters, I have nieces, great nieces, and I want them to be believed if anything like this happened to them. I just want them to be believed. And I want for men who take advantage of women, rape women, or whatever that's the situation, that they are prosecuted to the fullest of the law. Because I don't care if I walk into a bar in panty shorts and no bra, ew, and I'm drunk as Cooter Brown. That does not give a man the right to insert his penis in my vagina. Period. So that's it. That's all. Bill Cosby is not Cliff Huxtable. Let's just move forward. The old man is out. He's going to live the rest of his life at home with his family. I do believe during the time that he was incarcerated, he lost his daughter. I think his daughter passed away while he was incarcerated. And we know about 20 years ago, he lost his son. Okay, Destiny. He lost his son. So let that man live the rest of his life with Camilla, hopefully in peace. And maybe he's going to help some other guys that he was locked up with get out of prison, especially if they in there on some bullshit. That he'll be the one to help him, help them and do something with this system that is so broken. And maybe that the bigger picture is that that's what will happen, that he'll be able to move the system along. All right, guys. Well, that's it. I got to go into some other lives and find out what's going on in the bushes. Thank you.